Okay, to say that marijuana is just marijuana is kind of nuts. Marijuana has so many different varieties, just like alcohol. You have beer, you have whiskey, you have wine, you have different levels of whiskey, wine, beer. You can get Mogan David, or you can get something different, Thunderbird maybe, or some Nitrate, eh? Or you go out and get some Jack Daniels or some Southern Comfort. At any rate, so there's different levels. This is what we're going to address in this particular chart. PL1 equals 0 to 1.999% THC. It's hemp. It's no high. I thought about Woody Harrelson personally putting his butt out there just to, kind of smack the face of drug laws. PL2 equals 2 to 5.999%. I called it THC. I called it like old Colombian or old Mexican, the old brown-haired stuff. It was old brown weed is what it was, full of seeds and sticks. PL3 equals 6 to 7.9999% THC. Red hair, like I used to get from this old hippie dude from Eastern Washington. The old hippie dude always had these big flat buds that he had compressed from growing once a year. Nothing super fancy, but it was sure better than having the bow. Okay, PL4 equals 8 to 9.9999% THC. Humboldt County is how I compared it out. When I was a young lad, a teenager, almost an adult, we used to get this stuff from Humboldt County. That wasn't too bad, and it had a nice flavor to it. And it was definitely better than the rest. That's what I put it at. PL5 equals 10 to 11.9999% THC, and it's Hawaiian is where I put that at. You always heard about the Puna buds, the Kona buds, and all that other stuff. But up here in the States, that was rare. They kept that stuff back home. PL6 equals 12 to 13.999% THC. And I put it at the Jamaican level because I saw a news report years ago that said Jamaican was between 12 and 14% THC. PL7 is 14 to 15.9999%, and it's Thai or Buddha buds. They have the old brown sticks that were kind of loose. You kind of felt ripped off like you were buying the stick. They were small, where the Buddha sticks were big and green and icky and sticky. You knew what you were getting. Called them elephant sticks also. PL8 equals 16 to 17.999%. And THC, and he called it Swaziland after a friend of mine, Rob Bill, Rob, I hear you grew up to become a millionaire and a property owner and a bunch of other stuff, but when we were kids, we used to argue about it all the time. He had this little Altoid cup thing, or Altoid can, and he had this nice fluffy bud that he swore was the best in the world, and that best in the world was from Swaziland. And I would argue PL9 equals 18 to 19.999%, and it was THC, Afghanistan Indica. We are from the home of G13 up here, people. This is Seattle. So we were actually having this argument in the college parking lot at the time. So, you get the idea. And then there's PL10 equals 20% plus THC or more. That would be your modern day hybrids. Things like White Widow, I hear, is over 20%. And most certainly your hash. Definitely your hash. Okay, we're looking for mechanisms in which to help law enforcement control or to abate any kind of criminal activity involved with marijuana. And we're looking at the severity of punishment matching the severity of marijuana stolen kind of thing. So for classification level 1, we're looking at P1 through P3. You get busted under protective penalties. Then classification 2 is P4 through P9. Any kind of buds in that class, you get busted, you get caught messing up, you'll get twice the time as you would if you got busted messing up under CL1. Classification 3, P10, you get 3 times the time as if you were messing up under CL1. I think you get the idea. Okay. This is his story. This, my friends, you can't see the whole thing, is the quantitative pricing, the public price of pot cable. Maybe you can't see it. I can't tell what you can see from there right now. So let's do it. What do you say? The actual price you're going to pay for pot at a retail value under the Acts of Providence. For the PL1s, you start off at $3.13 1/8. You go to $6.25 for a quarter, $12.50 for a half, and $25 for an ounce. Keep in mind that it's no high kind of weed. Maybe you use it for tobacco. And if you've ever taken a cigarette apart and weighed it up, recently I did. It came to like 7/10 of a gram for a cigarette. So PL2, $1.77 for a gram, 6.25 an eighth, 12.50 a quarter, 25 and a half, 50 an ounce. PL3, 3.45 a gram, 12.50 an eighth, 25 a quarter, 50 a half, 100 with an ounce. PL4, 5.30 a gram, 18.75 an eighth, 37.50 a quarter, 75 and a half, 150 an ounce. PL5 is $7.07 a gram, 25 an eighth, 50 a quarter, 100 a half, 200 an ounce. Boy, talk about bringing back the early 1980s. PL6 is $8.83 a gram, 31.25 an eighth, 62.50 for a quarter, 125 for a real half ounce, and 250 for a weight ounce. Did I get that right? Yes, I did. PL7 is 10.64 real gram, 37.50 for a weight eighth, 75 for a weight quarter, 150 for a weight half, and 300 for a weight ounce. PL9, there's that argument between, is that where we're at? We're at PL8, PL9. We're at PL8. 12.35 for a gram, 43.75 for an eighth. For good old Rob Swazi Bud. 87.50 for a quarter, 175 a half, 3.50 an ounce. Now for that ant candy on my side that I used to yell about. 14.11 a gram. I used to yell about that too. $50 an eighth, $100 a quarter, 200 a half, 400 an ounce. Now, if you were to do the numbers, you would realize that this $25 up here for an ounce example is actually divided equally. It comes down to 3.13 for the eighth. We're not looking to create any price incentives to buy quantity. So the gram price is basically the ounce price, just divided up. PL10, the medical, the white wicked, the hash starts off here. 15.87 a gram, 56.25 an eighth, 112.50 a quarter, 225 a half, and 4.50 an ounce. Can you believe it? That is the public price of pot table for the quantitative pricing of retail marijuana. Now we just got to get everybody on the same page and get them into the stores so that some of you out there can buy $1.77 gram of some old Colombian gold if we actually put it on the shelves. Or a $12.35 sack, plus there's tariffs and stuff involved for the African Swazi. But we'll get to tariffs and stuff later. That all comes into our future world and how we do international pricing and going global and stuff like that. Right now, we got this.